I'm Chad Grevalese with Aerolite TV and your host of the show, Connect Up. If you're looking to gain traction in your career or business, you're at the right place because here we talk about connection. You need to know how to connect with the right people in the right way so you can build valuable relationships that lead you to career success. We have conversations about how to find your voice in your career. I interview communication experts, time and focus masters, and everyday people who have stories to tell of challenges overcome, goals achieved, and how their inner and outer communication and ultimately their relationships accelerated their progress and elevated their journey. Success in life is just a collection of the right conversations with yourself and others. Connect up to a better version of yourself. Connect up to your goals and a brighter future. Disconnect from the things that are holding you back and connect your way to where you want to be. Welcome back to the show. In today's conversation, I get to speak with Ronan Leonard. He is an expert on masterminds, and I love that we get to talk about masterminds today because the whole premise of a mastermind is connection, is connecting with a group of people to create something, to further progress, to problem solve. And on this show, we talk about connection. We talk about how important it is that you connect with other people if you want to achieve anything, and how to do that, how to connect with people, and where to start, and what different formats there are for connecting with people. And one of those formats is a mastermind. Whether you own a business, whether you're working for a business, whether you are whoever you are, whatever you're doing, masterminds are important. And I mean, mastermind, the idea of a mastermind is that essentially you're bringing together a group of people who are all contributing their wisdom so that each person can achieve their goals faster, whatever it is. And masterminds can show up in many forms. You can have a bunch of business owners. You can have a team of people that work for a company meeting together as a mastermind to help each other progress in their own personal and professional development. Just the basic unit of a family is a type of mastermind. And so today we're going to discuss the importance of masterminds. What is it, how to find one, and how to show up to one and participate at the level that people expect you to in a mastermind, and how to succeed, how to not just be in a mastermind, but how to really succeed being in a mastermind so that it's worth your time and the effort. And we're also going to talk about how to take feedback in the right way, because when we're in masterminds, people are giving us a lot of feedback on things we're working on in our business, in our career, in our goals. And we need to know how to not necessarily filter, but how to consolidate that feedback, because sometimes you'll get a few different opinions from different people, and then you also have your own voice in it and your own opinion on something. And so Ronan is going to share with us some tips on how to consolidate that so that you can walk away and make confident decisions where you're not just following people's advice and you're never using your own opinions or voice in it. You're pooling everyone's feedback and perspectives together to create a new, better perspective on something. So Ronan teaches niche business owners and subject matter experts how to leverage their IP into additional revenue models and how to increase their industry profile, all through the innovative concept of virtual masterminds. He has a company called eCountability, where you can join a virtual mastermind from anywhere in the world. The technology that we have today, the technology that we used for this interview through Zoom, has worked really well in connecting me to guests in the same way that it can connect people together in a mastermind. And Ronan, he really loves seeing the benefits of mastermind groups and the benefits that it has on both the instructors and the participants. And he's helped hundreds of business owners increase authority, revenue, and expertise. So with that said, I welcome Ronan to the show.
Thanks for having me, Chad. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you on the show because you are an expert at masterminds, and a mastermind obviously has to do with connection, and we're bringing groups of people together. And on this show, we talk a lot about connection. We talk a lot about how when we pool together the knowledge and wisdom and resources of people connecting with other people, things can get created a lot faster with a lot higher quality. Businesses can thrive a lot more. And a lot of the people who listen to the show are trying to advance their career, and they're trying to or build a business, and there's a lot of solopreneurs, and as much as they might be on their own, running their own business, working at home, they still need to connect with lots of people in order to build that business. And so tell us a little bit about kind of what aspects of your story led you to create eCountability to begin with. Tell us a little bit of background on that.
Well, about 15 years ago, I started my first business, which is an events-based business. And it was very, very niche. And I had no idea what I'm doing. I sunk my life saving into it. I had never started a business before. I used to work on cruise ships traveling the world. And for the first year, I got not a single sale. And I read all the books and I did a course, and I just thought, how hard could this be? Everyone else seems to be doing it. And I realized it was really hard. Luckily enough, I met someone. You talk about connection. I met someone who showed me SEO. This was way back in 2003, when it was quite easy to really get sort of good ranking. But I didn't know that. And you don't know what you don't know, that stupid Donald Rumsfeld saying. So he connected me, showed me how to do SEO, got my first customer up and running. Congratulations. And he became a bit of a mentor for me. And sadly, he passed away about 4 or 5 years ago. But without him, I probably wouldn't have had a business, because I said I tried lots of things. It's been about a year. And then about 4 years ago, I was in my very first mastermind. And this light bulb moment came off for me, is that I'd spent, apart from this guy who gave me a little bit of advice here and there on an ad hoc basis, I'd had no mentors, no training, no coaches, and I was pretty much doing it all myself. And yes, I had a couple of staff under me, and it's lonely, it's hard. And so the more you can surround yourself with people that get you, that are on a similar journey, that can support you, that you can share ideas. And you touched on it earlier. I believe that 1 + 1 = 3. When you get two people together, you come up with an idea better than the two people individually. And then I realized that that's what I wanted to do. So I sold my other business, and I just went full time into masterminds, because I just 100% believe in the concept. I'm obsessed about them.
That's really great. Yeah, I wish I knew the importance of masterminding with people earlier on, because when I started out as a freelance videographer, and then moved into some consulting, and then moving into coaching and kind of doing all of it. And it took me a while to start finding clients, because I was very unwilling to. I saw myself as an independent, and I'm doing it on my own, and it was just like spinning in the hamster wheel trying to get things going, because I wasn't connecting to people. I wasn't forming those groups with other entrepreneurs. But once I started to do that, everything changed. All of a sudden, I realized that I didn't know everything, and all this wisdom of all these other people were, not only did they help teach me and mentor me, but they also connected me to resources and other people, and it just kind of kept going on and on. What to you is, if you can comment a little bit more on what the importance of a mastermind is, and what can be gained from it, but also like what your definition of a mastermind is. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that?
So there's no right or wrong one. To me, one of the purest forms of it is that, have you ever been to an art gallery and seen Renoir, Degas, Monet, those classic Impressionist movement? So how they started is that they all used to meet in a cafe in Paris at night, and they would share ideas, they would share paints, they would share canvas, created this whole gen called the Impressionist movement, which is now worth billions. So to me, the idea is finding ideas, because ultimately you are where you are today for two things: the action you've taken and the stuff two things, that's it. So if you don't have results you want, one of those has to change, but probably both. So to me, has already done what you want to learn, wrong rabbit hole, then that is, worth more than $100, $200, $500, because it could give you the next idea or the next strategy that really takes you to that next level.
Definitely, yeah. I've had a lot of people that I've connected with that did help me. Not even, like, sometimes I'd get advice from somebody in a group, and based on kind of my own thoughts and mixing it together with other things, it takes some time to figure out how to. Because sometimes you'll have conflicting ideas. You might be sitting in a group of people and you have 3 people that think different things. What do you do to kind of, I don't know if filter is the right word, but if you have a couple of different ideas giving you advice and then you have your own perspective, how do you end up forming a strategy to act on that you're confident with? Since sometimes when we are in a mastermind, we are getting different viewpoints on things. How do you consolidate that and then create what you feel is now the best strategy. Like you said, 1 + 1 = 3. It's not that individually their ideas were perfect, but somehow together it formed even a more perfect idea. Like, what's your process for that?
Well, you look at someone who's already done something, so that's a big tip versus someone that just has an opinion. So somebody's already done something, they've got far more gravitas than someone that just has the opinion. I also think that they're giving you the context to content. We're overloaded with content, so more and more content's being produced. You can't filter it. But when you sum up all those things, ultimately it becomes your own gut instinct. So you can take all that advice on board, and then you've got to make your own mistakes, your own decisions. But at least you've had an outside opinion. If you sit in your room all day, there's no one to test your assumptions. There's no one to say, is this really the right answer? Because you're at point A, you want to get to point B. So you want to build something in the middle that gets you there. So that most of your faulty thinking, mine included, a lot of it has been, I just assume, okay, this is what will get me to point B. And it's not always that way. So having that assumption tested as much as possible, then you come back and say, well, look, okay, I've taken that idea on board, or I've taken your feedback, but I still think I'm right. At least you've had a second opinion or third opinion.
No, definitely, because that and now that you have that second and third opinion, it can help verify for you that you do. It almost solidifies the confidence that you had in your idea. And yeah, I've experienced that too, where I've had times where somebody would give me feedback and they were their idea was like spot on, and I was way off. And there's been other times where their idea was the parts of it were really good, but I've had times as well where I didn't listen to somebody's feedback and then I should have. And it seems like it just takes some time to develop the skill to be able to know, like you said, that gut feeling at the end of the day, being able to listen to what you're feeling on something. You can toss around logic all day long trying to analyze all these different viewpoints, but when it comes down to making a decision, sometimes we do have to go off of that feeling. And I guess, is there anything that you do in your life that helps you be more in tune with that feeling so that you can become a confident decision maker? Because if there's anything that held me back for a while, it was indecision, being too hesitating when it came to decisions that would have gotten me opportunities, and kind of pushing away those opportunities and just not knowing how to make a confident choice. So what are some things that you do that help you make more confident choices, where you're not waiting too long to choose, but you're also not jumping into it so quick that you're not doing some level of analyzing? What do you have to say about that?
I think everyone forgets second order consequences. We come up with this great idea and we go, okay, it'll be great when this happens. So we think about all the upside and we never think about the downside, which is the second order consequences. So now at least once a week, I might have a good idea and I'll sit down, thinking time, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I'll just think about that problem. I'll look for pros and cons, and I'll really sort of just sit there with the idea and just work through that. So at least I've thought it through, not just jumped into it, because we're busy people. We love to work in 40, 50 hours a week and 60 even. And then we go, I don't have time for anything. And then you find out that this idea that you hadn't given any consideration, but you're going to spend the next 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. People start a business idea and they jump straight into it without spending even probably that first hour of saying, okay, let me work out what happens if it goes wrong. So that's probably one of the key things that I do to try and stress test some of my own ideas. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's really great. That helps a lot, being able to just take that moment to compare and stress test it, because there's times where I should have done that. That's really helpful. Thanks for that tip.
They call it a pre-mortem. So rather than doing a post-mortem when the body's dead, it's too late. Right. Then what happened? He died. You do a pre-mortem. Say, okay, let's assume that this thing might die. What killed it? What can potentially kill it? So that's just another way of looking at it as a pre-mortem.
Oh, that's perfect. That's brilliant. Very good. Thank you. Within the kind of subtopic of masterminds, what as you've been a part of masterminds, as you're helping to facilitate masterminds, what are some tips that you have for creating valuable connections to other people? Because we've discussed a little bit about the importance of a mastermind and what it can do, and some habits for being able to take feedback from people and then filter that feedback and then make confident decisions. But with the connection piece directly to people, what are some things that you do to create valuable connections with people, to organize those relationships? Just some, I guess, basic networking tips that you have for us.
Well, everyone says the same thing, and it is true. You've got to try and give value first rather than expect that all these people are going to help you. So you need to go in with a service mentality of how can I help other people? I think that's what the key things to look for. I've been in mastermind groups where people are in there thinking, can I sell to these people, these other 6, 7 people in the group? It's the first thing I'm thinking is, can I make one sale? Instead of, can these 7 other people really help me to scale my business and make far more sales? So it's definitely that coming of service. The other key thing to look for is the plus minus equal effect, is that you can't have too big a gap in the group. You can't have somebody, everyone thinks that if I can connect to Gary Vee or Richard Branson and pick their brains, I'd learn so much. But when you're starting out, that's not what you want. You want someone that is a level above 2 at the most, because otherwise there's no value exchange. The person that's really experienced, although they're imparting their wisdom, often it's too intimidating and the gap's too big. So it's definitely that plus minus equal. Who is in the group are close to equal, who's a little bit above, who's a little bit below in certain areas, and then there's a true value exchange.
That's really smart. So that you have the plus, you have the minus, and that creates that balance of a mastermind group. How do you go about finding, I guess, a mastermind group so that you know, we have, because like you said, if you're just connecting to Gary Vee and they're not necessarily going to help you with where you're at. And so what's the first couple steps that somebody needs to take to find the right mastermind group and know that this is the group I need to be in right now? How do they evaluate that?
I think it's a bit like dating. You actually don't know until you try it. You can, on paper, it can sound perfect. They might have the host might have the best reputation. So there's no right or wrong answer to that. You've really just got, they sound great on paper, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and you need to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, what did I learn from this? What are the key attributes am I looking for? How can I test that? So there is no perfect mastermind out. Sorry, there is a perfect mastermind out there. It's just you don't know it until you're in it. Like you don't know the perfect partner for you.
Gotcha. No, that makes total sense. So yeah, I guess we definitely encourage anyone listening to just explore around the different mastermind groups and feel it out. And once you find one that you feel like fits where you're at in your business and in your career, then you're there. And you can also find new ones and be a part of a couple different ones. So what tips, I guess, do you have for if you're in a mastermind group, how to best participate? Like, what would you say is just, okay, if you want to just succeed in a mastermind group, how should I show up to one?
You show up with a lot of energy. That really helps. A lot of enthusiasm. As I said earlier, looking for a place of service. How can I help someone? You need to genuinely like people. The truth is, if you don't like genuinely connecting, you talked about it earlier, how you became this person that started connecting to other people. You have to genuinely like connecting to other people. Otherwise, it comes from a place of inauthenticity, and people pick up on that. So lots of energy, lots of, the best networkers, I'll message someone 6 months after I've met them and say, I found this blog post, it's great for you. Or you should meet this person because they do something that can really help you, or you two have a great synergy. So yesterday I just connected 2 people. One's got a podcast around design, and I know this designer who's done a TEDx talk, and I said he'd be perfect for your show. Connect him. So you become that great connector that you talked about. So you're always looking to serve others and thinking about them, and that's one of the key attributes that I think you should be looking for as in a mastermind group.
That's really helpful. Tell me about a time that a mastermind group really helped you out with some goal that you had in your business. Can you think of a time when a mastermind was kind of a crucial point of your career or business?
I get light bulb moments all the time, but it's just as nice to see other people. I'll give you one example. I had a podcast that started last year, and I'm in a paid mastermind as well. It's like, if your coach doesn't have a coach, then you've got to think, well, have they stopped learning? Have they become a know-it-all, not a learn-it-all? And I was talking about my podcast, and the person running this mastermind said, well, your podcast really needs to do just 2 things. It needs to serve your audience and it needs to serve your business. And if it's not doing both of those, then you need to shut it down, because it just becomes a vanity project, a hobby, or a time suck. Now, if you love doing it for the sake of it, that's fine. But you've got to look at it, 4, 5, 6 hours. It's quite a lot of money sunk into the podcast. So it needs to serve those two things. So again, I couldn't see that. So when that was told to me, okay, is this podcast serving my audience and me and my business? And the answer was no. So I closed it. So that was a great bit of advice that I couldn't see myself. So they come all the time. If you're willing to be open and admit you don't know everything, take that ego out of it, and then you'll find that people will help you. You will get great ideas, and you will constantly improve faster than you would on your own.
That's great. Thank you. That helps us know just how important it is that we get out there and find a mastermind. And one step we can take is also explore what you're doing with e-accountability. Can you explain to us a little bit about how e-accountability helps us to get into a mastermind group and how it works?
Well, I work on a 13-week process of try and take people through 13 weeks of working together and probably looking at the vast majority of their business. Is their marketing working? Have they thought about PR? Have they done any guest blogging? Whatever it is, try and look at a broad spectrum of the strategies and the tactics out there, and then potentially go a little bit deeper on a couple of things. But for most business owners, there's an underlying issue. What I find that some people, and unless they address that, there's just the same thing that comes up week after week in Mastermind. So it might be, if you're not good at marketing, it just keeps coming up. I don't have enough leads this week, or I haven't done this. And then you find that they've decided they want to do some kind of strategy, LinkedIn outreach or SEO or paid ads, and then they just haven't progressed because we tend to slip into our comfort zone and do what we always do. So it's trying to challenge those people to say, if you're not willing to do the stuff that's uncomfortable, then you don't understand, you're not sure of, you will never take that next step. You've got to do that. So it's a 13-week process of working with people to get them to that next level, and to look at several different ideas and work out then what will be their next one to go forward.
Gotcha. That sounds like a really great thing that any of you listening should explore the opportunity there. Where should anyone listening go to connect with you? I think you have a resource that you wanted to give the audience, and so do you want to go ahead and mention a little bit about that, and also where can they connect with you if they want to learn more from you and see what value they can add to your community?
Sure, Chad. Well, about 4 years ago, a business coach showed me the Rockefeller dot system. And what I personally believe in, and you'll probably agree with this, is that we break our commitments to ourselves far more regularly than we do to our customers and to our friends and our family. So we say, yeah, I'm going to write for 25 minutes and get really good at blog posting, and then you don't, and they just slip away. So J.D. Rockefeller, huge oil baron, one of the richest people in the world, he was huge on his habits and rituals, because that's what gets you where you want to go, habits and rituals. So he created this dot system. So on the left-hand side, all you do is you write out all the things that you do on a consistent basis that you want to do. And then at the end of the day, you put a little dot by them. It takes you 20 seconds. And then you see this pattern across the month of where you're dropping off and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. And it just keeps you in check for the mental habits that you have versus are you actually doing them. So I haven't to give that away. That'll be in the show notes. There's a link for that. The best place to find me is on LinkedIn. I find it's a great platform if you're in the space of working with other great business owners. You can connect to some amazing people. That's how I connected with you. So I just find it as a social media platform, it's the key one that I hang out on. So find me on LinkedIn if you want any questions about Masterminds.
Okay, sounds great. And so we'll include a link to those, to the LinkedIn and also that resource in the show notes. And I definitely second that. The LinkedIn's a great place to connect with people that are like-minded, people that have similar goals, but people that can also mentor you, people that you can mentor. And it really is a great resource there. And Ronan, you really gave us a lot of value today on on the importance of masterminds, but also how to approach one, how to show up to one, how to contribute to one, how to find one. and that a mastermind is not just something we do as a business owner. A mastermind is something you take on as a habit, as just a part of your life, as something that when you pick a new goal, you make sure that you are a part of a mastermind that's helping you to build your business, to help build your career, but that you're always looking for ways in which you're going to show up and provide value to everyone else there. And at the end of the day, I think the idea of a mastermind, it translates far beyond just business, that just being a part of any group of people that are coming together to help each other is what makes us really happy, and that's what gives us fulfillment in our life, to have that connection. And so thanks for giving us some really, really key actionable tips today on how to connect better.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jed. Thanks for having me on the show.